Man, now I know I said in the last video that we got bigger fish to fry as human beings, as humanity, than the daily division of the day and what's going on, who said what, who did what. But this piece, this sweet piece of low hanging fruit was just too good and juicy not to pick. Michelle Obama talking about white flight when she lives in Martha's Vineyard. She knows exactly what she's doing here. We're close to an election, which is why these elites are coming out of the woodworks. That's why Hillary Clinton's back. This is why Michelle Obama's talking, making the rounds, because they want race and division to be ahead of everybody right before an election. That's what it's all about. So we're going to get into this. I don't know if you guys have seen the clip yet. I wish I could include it in the live stream, but I can't. Michelle Obama said, in the context, I'm going to give the context. She was talking about white flight when she was growing up, how when she was a little girl and her family was well to do or whatever, they had money, they moved into an all white neighborhood. And she said, one by one, all these white families started packing up and moving out, even though her family wasn't committing crime or doing anything like that. Okay. She said, white flight is still happening today, and people are moving out as black people move in. Okay, Michelle. All right. So if white people are moving out when you move in and you're attributing that to race, if it's an all white neighborhood and white people move out, first of all, you're assuming a lot. You're assuming that because they move out, it has to do with your race. That's why they're moving. It couldn't be that or raise and they found a better house. You don't know what's going on with that neighborhood. You're just assuming, well, they must be moving out because I'm black. See, this is that victimhood narrative that I get tired of. Always trying to blame and outsource to white people. It's always about white people. We are so obsessed with white people. If white people thought about oppressing blacks as much as we think they think about oppressing blacks, they wouldn't have time to oppress blacks. We oppress ourselves. So Michelle Obama talking about white people moved out just because we moved in. You don't know that. And oh, by the way, where did you move from? You moved out of a black neighborhood, I'm assuming. So is that black flight? Why did you leave? Maybe is it because of the crime? Maybe you should ask your neighbors, hey, I saw you're moving. Where are you going to? Get to know your neighbors instead of assuming that they're moving out because you're black. That's not a thing. That's not happening. And to draw the parallel that it's immigrants now, so you want to try to draw the parallel between when America was more racist and now with immigrants moving in, which I assume you're talking about illegal immigrants. Those are kind of only kind of immigrants the left cares about. You're trying to say, let me sit down real quick. And that's Nino heavy breathing in the background. This is probably not good for what he's dealing with because he's like, man, dad is fired up today. Okay, so you're talking about how immigrants are being demonized by Americans, not because of other issues going on like the crime, but because they're immigrants, because they're brown people. Americans don't want them there. So it has to do with xenophobia and racism. See, the racist narrative that they keep alive, they keep it going, they drum it up. She comes out of nowhere to drum up this division. So we're going to set the record straight because she's the biggest hypocrite. Just like all of these celebrities, all these athletes, all these entertainers, all these wealthy bankers and politicians, they live in gated communities, sending their kids to private school. They have guns. They have armed security. They're not drinking fluoridated water. They're probably eating food not covered in glyphosate. And they're focused on trying to get us down here divided amongst each other so we're not looking and seeing what they're doing. They're hypocrites. Big carbon footprints, spending all this money, but they want to talk about poverty and, oh, there's a lot of poor people walking around. Well, you can solve the problem. Why do we need government? Redistribute your own wealth. Why do you need the government to do it? Because 9 times out of 10, they're going to come and take my wealth. So I get tired of that. You know what's happening? The elites are living in the neighborhood together. White, black, Asian, Hispanic, probably immigrants, people who move here with money, they move to the hills, right? The best example I can think of is athletes. Think about these NFL players. I've seen documentaries. A lot of their stories, they come from like rural Mississippi, super towns, most of them black, right? What happens when they hit the NFL and become millionaires? Do they move back? Yeah, I'm sure some of them do. I'm sure they do. But the majority of them, they move to the burbs, they move to Beverly Hills, they move out to rural America just outside of the city, buy up some land and build a big estate on it. Is that having to do with racism or does it have to do with class? That's what it's about. We're divided by class, among other things, artificial divides, but it doesn't matter how much, what color your skin is, because cancer is not going to discriminate. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what your gender is, what bathroom you use, who you sleep with. None of it matters. But Michelle Obama wants you to think it does matter. So I know I will get roasted by Michelle Obama, the Obama loyalists. I know they're out there. They're going to downvote this video. I'll get called all the names. I'll get called all the things, but they won't acknowledge anything that I say. They'll just attack me. What did I get wrong? You go to any ghetto, black America, anywhere, go anywhere. Ask your average person if they had money to buy a new house and they could live anywhere they want, would they buy the house and build the house in their current neighborhood? 9.99% of the time, they're going to move out. And if you want to be honest about it, they're probably going to move because of the crime, because of the drug addiction, because of the dilapidated housing, because the schools suck. And if we're going to talk about some of these neighborhoods, who's running them? Who's been running them? Democrats. And it's black Democrats. Again, we oppress ourselves. Another thing Michelle Obama said there, she said, well, when white people move out, you know, when a black person moves to a white neighborhood and it becomes more black and more diverse and all the white people leave, they're leaving those communities decimated. So what you're saying is people of color, minorities, need white people in the communities for those communities to be successful? Is that what you're saying? You're saying all the resources are tied to white people. You're trying to blame other people for failing conditions. That's what she's saying. When she says white people are moving out and they're leaving communities decimated, she's saying the decimation happens because of the minorities. But if white people move in to a black area, what do they call that? Racism, gentrification, oppression. See, you can't win. You can't win with these people. They always shift the goalposts. They're always being fake about it. Why can't we just be real about it? Why you got to be so fake, Michelle? Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Who left the super chat? Here you are. Here's my 5. Appreciate you, Lori. Thank you so much. I just had to say that, man. Like, are you kidding me? I'm tired of these hypocrite elites lecturing everybody else when they are not living the lives that they're telling everybody else to live, and they're focused on division, constant division. Let's focus on race. And of course, let's blame Trump for everything. Yep, let's blame Trump. It's always Donald Trump's fault, right? What next? You're going to apply white flight retroactively so you can blame Trump? Well, technically he was alive during the white flight era, so if you squint your eyes and tilt your head to the side, you can blame Trump for that. We're always trying to blame somebody. Oh, I'm fat because of Trump. White supremacy made me shovel all the ice cream and pizza down my gullet every day. You know, I saw a car on the side of the road earlier today. They had the hood up. I guess you could blame that on Trump too. They were so stressed out living in Trump's racist America, they forgot to get their oil changed. Man, you could blame Trump for everything. I didn't get my mail dropped off today. I think the mailman skipped my house. Well, I guess I could blame Trump. He was probably distracted because of Trump's racism, because of white America, because of all this racism. America's so racist. Well, let's build a wall to keep minorities out so they don't have to come here and experience all this racism. Racism. They love it. And they're just, cannot say it enough, the biggest hypocrites on the planet. You find me a black person that becomes a millionaire and is like, you know what, I'm gonna stay right here on Crenshaw and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, and I'm gonna build my mansion right here. No, they're moving to what you would call a white neighborhood. And as people with color in their skin gain more money and wealth and prosperity, they become mobile. So they're gonna move into these white neighborhoods and live amongst the elites. That's what I'm trying to say. So Michelle Obama missed me with that garbage. Anybody supporting that, anybody trying to prop that up and talk about white flight is still happening. No, black flight is happening too. Black people are trying to get out of these neighborhoods too. And speaking of black neighborhoods, there are examples of black neighborhoods that are thriving. Go to the suburbs of Atlanta. You got all kind of rich entertainers, athletes, music producers living in the suburbs of ATL. So I don't want to hear it. The people who live in the neighborhood make up the components of that neighborhood and decide if that neighborhood is good or not. That's what determines if the neighborhood is good, is the quality of people in there. But to just generally say, well, people are moving out because I moved in, not because they've lived there forever, because they want a bigger house or anything else. Who knows? Maybe it is because of racism. Who cares? So what? If there's one person or two people in your neighborhood to move out, let them. More people are going to move in that aren't racist. But when she says white folks and all that, she's trying to say all white people are this way. But you know what? Again, hypocrisy, so much hypocrisy, it'll make your head spin. Let a white person say something like Michelle Obama did. News coverage for the rest of the week. Wall to wall, breaking news, Don Lemon. We're covering it tonight. We're bringing it to you first. CNN. White person said this. Michelle Obama says it is okay. Just get tired of it, man. So that's all I'd say. This is the quickest rant ever. I got some things to do. Got some things to take care of. As you guys know what's going on. Appreciate all of you. Your comments have just been amazing. I love you guys. God bless you. Look for me to make some more content, man. I gotta get back in my groove. It's been a while since I just dropped some fire. I need to do it. It's needed. I'm not taking my eyes off of the ball, and neither should anybody else. But sometimes that stuff is heavy. You need to chime in and talk about this kind of stuff. It's easy. It's easy, low-hanging fruit. You can just call out the hypocrisy and double standards for days. So look for me to do that more. But again, guys, thank you so much for everybody that super chatted, donated. You guys have no idea. Every single dollar that you donate is going to go towards saving this guy's life. Saving his life. That's right. Saving his life, flipping the bird to cancer and big pharma. Win, win, win. That's triple the win right there. Cannabis is nature's cure. So it's just going to feel amazing, right? If we could bankrupt big pharma, we've done a damn good thing. So the word needs to spread. I need to be a success story, right? I need to be a success story. He needs to be a success story of how you can heal through eating the right foods and using nature's medicine. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. God bless you. I will catch you in the next live stream.